So you want to conduct a chi-square test of independence using RStudio? Great! If you've watched our video that explains the concept of chi-square, you may recall the example of the four corners activity and that the chi-square test counts the number of people in each category. The number of people in each group is an example of the observed count in the data. To get started with this analysis in RStudio, we have to first create a table of the observed counts to show the pattern of the data. This is called a contingency table or a two-way table. It shows how data from different items relate. In the conceptual video, we provided the example of boys versus girls and whether they would come back to a similar event in the future. The contingency table for that example showed the number of girls who said they would and would not come back, and the number of boys who said they would and would not come back. Here is the file containing the code we will use to tell RStudio how to create a contingency table. We have made all of this code available for you so that you can download the file and then change as needed to work with your data. If you've watched our video that shows you how to set up the data and variables in RStudio, you will notice that lines 1 through 3, 6, and 7 are part of the initial setup. We will run those lines now. In this example, we are going to compare gender and awareness of STEM due to festival attendance. The question asked of festival attendees was, did today's event make you more aware of how STEM is part of your daily life? In this example, gender is the predictor variable. We want to know if it predicts different patterns in awareness of STEM. Awareness is our outcome variable. It is the variable that we want to learn more about. In this file, line 10 shows the code that creates this table, and line 11 will show the values in the table. Once we have our contingency table, we can tell RStudio to run the chi-square test of independence. That's what line 14 does. In this case, it tells RStudio to run the chi-square test for the contingency table that was created in line 10. And this is what your output should look like. These are your results. RStudio provides the chi-square value, the degrees of freedom, and the p-value. You're most interested in the p-value to determine if the outcome variable is significantly dependent on the predictor variable. If the p-value is less than 0.05, as it is in this case, then that means you have different patterns in your outcome variable based on your predictor variable. You can look back at the data to make more specific statements about how the variables relate. In our example, when we look at the percentage breakdown of awareness by gender, we can see that the percentages of females who said that festival attendance made them more aware of how STEM is part of their daily lives is significantly more than the percentage of males who indicated that festival attendance helped to increase their awareness. Interpreting the results of a 2-by-2 relationship are pretty easy because as one thing goes up, the other goes down. Things get a bit more tricky when you have more than two groups.